Hey, I'm Shug. Today we're going to go back in time. We're going to take another look, a revisit to the Tensa trekking trees. You see my hammock is hanging on two poles right now. Those are actually carbon fiber hiking poles called the trekking trees that convert into a hammock stand in the woods. There's a couple of updates we're going to look at today that make these a little bit better. While we're thinking about this, I'm going to go lay in there for a second and think about my next move. Maybe some of you purchased these and don't know about these updates yet that are going to improve particularly the part you see sticking out at the top, which is the end of the trekking pole, and that converts into your tarp lifter. But Tensa has done a new little update, so we're going to look at that, maybe put some tarps on. Specifically today we're looking at this new little update, and this is called a TLC. What this is a piece of carbon fiber in a heat shrink tube with a screw on the bottom, and that will screw to the top of your Tensa tree when you convert to hammock mode. In hiking pole mode, this is called the trekking foot. You can see right there, there's your traditional little end of it, the rubber knob, and that you can use to put on the end of your pole, and you can see it on that pole down there, to extend the height of your tarp. Boom. There's been a couple of breakages in the past. The wind blows, it puts a lot of stress on this. You can bend the screw on the end of the pole. The actual carbon fiber in a couple places have split. This little item called the TLC, your trekking foot will slip into that. This will screw into the end of your trekking trees on the top screw. And what basically happens is if the wind blows or you get stress on this, the rubber tube right here will bend. And in a serious case, it'll just bend, and that's going to happen instead of breaking your trekking foot. They'll be offering them on the site. Get in touch with Tensa. For previous owners, I don't know how much these are going to be or how they're going to do it, but I would get in touch with them. And this is just going to give you a little bit of safety out there in the field. A lot of us hammockers, man, we'll do anything to use our hammock. All right, here we're looking at the foot end of my hammock, and I have one of the trekking foots, which is now called the tarp lifter, put onto the TLC right here. They do recommend, just in case, that you add a couple of guy outs here, and I've just taken some line, got a little loop right around there, and what I've done is just tied a prusik knot right down here on my guy line to my trekking trees off the hub, the main guy lines. And they do recommend this. Take heed. The Tensa crew recommends guying these out, even if using the TLC, just for a little extra protection. Now it's up to you what you want to do. You don't have to, and I have actually before I figured this out, before I really thoroughly read the instructions and directions. I had it on there, and I had no problem. And in the past I've even had the trekking foot just on there, and I guess I got lucky. A lot of times it's high winds that tend to force these to, as you can see again right here, take my hand and do it. With the TLC on there, it gives it a little, a little safety. Right here we're looking at my head end now. Foot end, head end. I just have the TLC, that new attachment on there. And what you do usually, if you want your tarp up higher, is just take this and put that in there like that. And your tarp will go over that, and that will also protect your tarp. The other thing, take that knob off. Let's take that trekking foot out. Here's the TLC part with the rubber tubing, the heat shrink tubing right here. This is what I've done. I put my knob right in there so my tarp sits on this part. And for me, I like my tarp low. So that would probably be my preferred way, and you don't have to guy out or do anything with that. Again, if you're going to use it in this mode, With the extenders, they do recommend guying out. And again, you're the one who purchased it. It's up to you whether you want to risk that or not. It's not really as complicated as it looks once you do it a few times. But the key is really staking it out well. All right, boom stakes on this end, and I'm using peggy pegs for the first time on this end. So really, study up. Go to the link on their site about anchors and read the information there, because it'll talk about different kinds of soils. These are really good for hard soil, and you screw them in with this little hex key right here. But you got this little tool, and you don't want to really tighten them more than you have to. They say the minute it quits turning, quit tightening, because they will break. This weighs nothing, and this is your little way to tighten them up. I kind of just put my whole hand on there, but it's as tight as it'll go. And the boom stakes I've shown you before, I use a 14-inch titanium stake that goes into the ground there with this piece of aluminum, and the pressure pulls from here instead of pulling on the stake to pull that out. But this works for me, and I really like it, because I want to sleep in that hammock when I'm in the woods, because I want that 10-12 hours of sleep. Yes, I do. I'm going to take the TLC off of the pole. All right, and this is the screw, and let's just say you're going to put your trekking foot on there. This is the way most of us have done it in the past, screwed it right on, and see, it has no give here at all. So this can break, and what might break can happen is it can bend this screw at the top, or it can break this component right here, this insert, which can be hard to fix, that goes right there. Now this little part is called the hub right here, and what this is this is what holds your hammock on by using a continuous loop, which is an Amstel loop, and that could even be shorter, but this is what comes on war bonnet hammocks, and a lot of hammocks do these days. And if you don't have one, you can order these to add to your hammock, but you know, it's going to take a little tinkering. Tinker on. So you carry these hubs with you, and you just add these on. I'm just putting this on top of the other one so I don't have to take it apart. You put that on when you go into hammock stand mode. When you're just in hiking mode, you take the hubs off and stash it away. Or you can even do this in your mode for hammocking, is just put your top knob back on, which would be there on your hiking pole when you hike, but you would remove the hub. And it has a groove in the top, groovy, that your tarp ridge line could sit in, or even your tarp line. For me, I rarely use this. I tried it a first couple of times. I thought that's what you needed. I really end up not using it much because, like I say, I like my tarp low. And I think I would either just use the TLC by itself on my foot end, or what I've done before is just put my knob on there and ram my tarp right here, because I wanted my tarp down nice and low and to protect me. You can kind of get your hammock sewn ridge line to sit in there. I had to kind of push it in the first time, but it's really held. I'm going to go pull one of the poles off right now and show you what it looks like in hiking pole mode, just in case you've never seen any of this, just for a little bit of clarity. Tensa sends you this really nice soft hiking pole straps. You know, most hiking poles have a strap that goes around your wrist, and most people use them. I tend to not use them, but they come with it, and that will just line up two holes, put that over the top, and then you take your top knob, which is nice that they made it orange because you can find it on the ground. And this way you can use this in your sort of traditional hiking pole mode like that. It's nice and wide, which is kind of cool. On this end, see this flat tip? Do we want to hike with that? Oh no. This is called the foot. This you carry with you in your bag on the trail, which goes on when you go into your hammock setup mode. All right, that simply unscrews from there. What we're going to do now is add the trekking foot, which is also used as a tarp lifter, back in. And then you have an adjuster right here. Have this nice, there's a little adjuster, which when you go into, just want to remind you, so you can pull that up to adjust your length. And there's some markers there, like that's the limit. I usually go to the one right before the limit, the first orange marker, lock that in. Right now I'm converting this back into hammock stand mode. One thing you want to do, you do not want to leave it extended here. You want to collapse that down back to there. So now we're back into what is the Trekking Treez hammock mode. I did want to mention that, you know, Tensa recommends 250 pounds. You know, that's probably a safe limit. Anything past that is up to you, but about a body weight in the hammock of about 250 pounds. All right, on the foot end, we have the foot, the extension. Here we have the coupler, which stays on my pole. The rest of the Treez, we have the TLC protector, the new piece right here that we're really covering, and the trekking foot or tarp lifter in this mode. Head end, TLC, the Treez hiking pole. I always carry some tape. I do that on all my poles just in case something breaks. I got some duct tape or gaffer's tape with me. Got the coupler, and the foot is on. It's guyed out. You have UCRs as your guy outs here. I tie a little slippery half hitch just to ensure they don't slip. That goes down on this end to my boom stakes. Foot end, same thing. UCR, they have added on some of the new ones a little keeper right here, because UCRs are very important. Once you get your length set, you want to, it's kind of like you can see this orange line and you can actually see it through this gray line, and this is the end you tighten. And when you get it set, you want to run your fingers. It's called milking the berry, like you do with a whoopee sling. You want to spread it out. And then what I like to do, and they recommend, just tie a little slippery half hitch, just to help keep it from slipping.
But hey, Sugar, I always hear people talking about a slippery half hitch, but I don't know what that means.
Well, a slippery half hitch is a little knot you tie. And what's nice about it is to untie it, you just pull it right out. To tie it, you're just kind of doing just a regular little half knot. I'll take the tail here. I'm just gonna make a little loop. I'm gonna reach my fingers through, and I'm just doing it's just a little half knot, like that. And it's called slippery because I can just pull it right out. Slippery half hitch. Superior Gear tarp hooked up. It's a longer tarp. We have a little overhang. This tarp has a 12-foot ridge line. I often like to go into a quasi porch mode. Stake your tarp down right between your two stakes for your Tensa tree. You want everything lined up really nice so that your trees are lined up nice and straight between these two guy outs, and your tarp has to be staked out to the ground like this. There's that extender down there. Doesn't seem to be moving much. This end we got just the TLC, and that's holding without any supports. There you go. So what I found out from Cheryl and Todd, who are the inventors and the Tensa crew, is most of the damage on these trekking feet or tarp lifters, thus the invention of the TLC, which holds it without breaking, has come from when you're in this setup, it gets really windy and the wind just is pushing on your tarp like that. And you can see right there, it's going to move without breaking. and the guy outs are supposed to give it just a little more support. Well, what have we learned? We've learned that there's some updates here to the Tensa trekking trees. For those of you that own them, again, get in touch with Tensa. For a guy like me who wants to be in his hammock, I tell you, I don't want to go camping if I can't be in my hammock. I'm one of those guys, and there's a lot of us out there. But for a backpacking stand where you can use the pole or poles or two, which I wanted to show in this video because I was asked last time, yes, you can use two and hang your hammock. That this is an option. It's simply an option for those of you that just insist on using your hammock like me. That said, all secure in Sector 7. Woo, buddy!
Hi y'all, Shug here.
Meow, meow.
Whoa buddy.
Whoa, buddy.